Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to give you guys my current take on Barrick Gold stock, or ticker symbol GOLD. I mean, they're stoked they got that one. So I imagine the majority of you guys who are watching this have already heard the news that Warren Buffett recently acquired a large stake in this company. That news understandably led to some pretty exciting price action on the back of what was honestly some already pretty impressive price action since these March lows on the back of gold. Obviously, Barrick being a very large gold miner, the more the gold price goes up, the more Barrick will go up. And I'm sure that this will be the catalyst for a new bull market in miners on top of what was already a bull market, and definitely a bull rally. Okay, so very exciting times. I do still see Barrick Gold, although I'm not invested in it, which I will mention shortly. Although I'm not invested in it, I do think that this is the kingpin within the sector. It has the largest market cap of all gold mining stocks. So, I mean, great company. The more I looked at it, which I will share with you guys some of the fundamentals behind why I think Barrick Gold is a great company. I am not invested in it personally. I like smaller gold miners. I love gold miners. I think gold miners have a lot of upside ahead of them, Barrick included, but I personally just believe, I'm not saying I'm right, that there's more upside in some smaller gold miners, and that's what I choose to play. Okay, so not saying Barrick isn't a great company. Obviously, there's a reason that Warren Buffett did invest in it. He's obviously done, I mean, far more due diligence than I have. I just choose to play different gold miners. Okay, but again, nonetheless, I will give you guys my technical and fundamental arguments for Barrick, I should say analysis. I will let you guys know what I'm thinking in terms of future potential price action. We'll take a look at the charts, of course, as you can see in front of us on TradingView, and then again, we will very quickly take a look at the article. I did cover this in Sunday's video. I guess it depends on when you're watching this, but just quickly go over the news about Buffett's stake in Barrick. Again, I imagine most of you, almost all of you probably have heard this already, so we'll be quick on this one. And then I also want to take a look at Barrick's recent earnings report. Okay, so this is on Barrick's actual site. We'll also take a quick look at their site. You guys, if you guys have watched these before, you guys know that I do like to look at their sites, or these companies' sites, just to see how they brand themselves and how they present themselves, the pride they take in the things they do. And a website's a good example of that. Okay, so we will take a look at this, and again, we will also not only look at the charts, but Barrick on TradingView, there's a lot of nice indicators here. So we will take a look at recent earnings, quarterly earnings, year-over-year analytics right here, which are very important. Market cap, of course, and then just some other little metrics right here. Okay, so before we get into it, I will ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it, or if you're invested in Barrick or any of the gold mining stocks that we're actually not talking about today, but I will talk about in the future. Trust me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this, and check out my complete portfolio and daily newsletter. First link in the description if you're interested in my exact plays within this sector. Okay, so again, we'll kick it off with the fundamentals. You guys know we always have to kick it off with the fundamentals, establish a fundamental understanding of what this company is prior to getting into the technicals. But trust me, I am excited to take a look at the charts with you guys. Okay, so again, CNBC article, Barrick Gold stock soars more than 10% after Buffett's Berkshire reveals stake. So we'll just read this, just straight up this quick, and talk about it a little bit. But Barrick Gold stock popped 10.5% on Monday after legendary investor Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway revealed a stake in gold miner stock. Berkshire added $562 million position in Barrick Gold in the second quarter, according to SEC filings Friday. While the position is small for Berkshire, which owns more than $89 billion in Apple stock, that's crazy, the conglomerate is the 11th largest shareholder of the gold mining company. Okay, so Berkshire, although I believe this is like less than a percent, far less than a percent even stake in Berkshire's portfolio, Berkshire is still the 11th largest shareholder of this gold mining company, which is, I mean, for them, a very huge stake. All right, so that's the news. Again, I do encourage you guys to look more into this if you're interested in that specifically. But let's also go over some of Barrick's. So again, this is Barrick's website. This is their Q2 earnings report. You can see right here. I do recommend always you guys look at the investors tab on a lot of the. If you're ever thinking about investing in stock long term, which is what I personally recommend. You should never trade a stock that you're not fundamentally bullish on. I always recommend you guys go to their website, check out their investors tab, look down it, and just do some research. Okay, do some research before you actually commit to a stock that you're looking into investing in. All right, so I'm not going to read this right here. I'm going to try to keep this quick. This is just like a bullet point, which I love how they did this, of key performance indicators. All right, and obviously these all hold some sense of importance, but just a few very basic ones that I think are bullish myself are: higher gold prices also result in higher royalty payments and costs. All right, so this not only applies to Barrick, but many other gold miners as well. Okay, so higher gold prices, obviously good news for gold miners because that's how they make money. The more gold costs, the more profits they make. Operating cash flow in excess of $1 billion and free cash flow greater than $0.5 billion or 500 mil for the quarter. So in this current economy, in this macroeconomic environment, when so much of the world is struggling and so many companies are unprofitable, just bleeding cash, it's so strong to have a strong balance sheet. Okay, so that's great news. They do have a strong balance sheet. They have cash on hand, and that is how companies withstand recessions like we're in right now. Net earnings per share of 20 cents, adjusted net earnings per share up 44% to 23% for the quarter. Okay, so they're profitable. Again, that's earnings per share is just a very good way to gauge general value, and if a company is profitable or not. The shares you're holding are valuable and they're providing profit. Okay, so Barrick increases, this is huge for institutional investors specifically. Barrick increases quarterly dividend by 14% to 8 cents per share. Okay, so especially for people like Buffett, I'm sure Buffett loved this. Okay, when you hold millions of shares of a company, then you get 8 cents per share. Okay, so that's super huge. Again, that brings a lot of institutional interest, because obviously these whales, these large players, these people who hold a lot of shares, which are these hedge funds and institutions, want good dividends, and the more dividends go up, the more appealing that these shares become to large entities like hedge funds and institutions. Okay, so that's great. We'll look down here quick. You guys can see here operating results. So Barrick mines both gold and copper. Obviously, gold is going to be their prime real estate, their prime source of income, but copper is doing pretty well now too. Okay, so commodities in this current economy are doing, copper not as well as gold. Copper's pretty similar to silver right now, actually, but the numbers in copper are going up. So this is Q2 2019, the past 3 quarters pretty much. So the number in copper is in a nice uptrend, as you can see here. Okay, so 97, 115, 120 as of this quarter. That's obviously a good uptrend. You can see gold is a little more volatile. So gold is actually going down, but the price of gold is going up, so that compensates pretty nicely, I have to imagine. But again, you guys can't, when you're operating mines and stuff, nothing's ever guaranteed. It's like, this is a very hard industry, and it's understandable to see some fluctuation in results and operating. Like, again, just the amount of gold you pull out of the ground, that's never a guarantee. But again, they're profitable. That's good news, and that's the primary thing that I care about right now. They're profitable. They have a strong balance sheet. Okay, so very good news for them. Moving on, let's then go on to look at some of these metrics, and then we'll move into the charts. I'll let you guys know where I think this thing could be going as far as price is concerned. Okay, so again, let's go up here. You can see here earnings over the past year have been going down significantly. Obviously, this is when the kind of corona economy hit, the pandemic struck. That caused so much disruption for everyone. So you got to cut them some slack here. But this time last year, or Q3 of 2019 was super impressive at $1.30 per share. That's crazy. That's super impressive. And even though, again, the EPS was far higher back then. Barrick's gold price is pretty much at not an all-time high, but a yearly high for sure. So the share price is significantly higher than it was a year ago, as you can see back here. Q3 2019 was probably more around like this area, so significantly higher than that. So that's not super, that doesn't mean a lot, but it just shows what they're capable of as a company. Okay, so that's very impressive returns. As you can see here, this is revenue versus net income. So this is how much they brought in versus how much they're actually keeping in pocket. Revenue looking pretty good. Obviously, again, it fluctuates over time. You can't expect very consistent results or growth with a company like this. But their revenue, or their net income looking pretty solid. So the net income is the green bar. That's, again, what they take home, their take home rate. Looking pretty good. Aside from 2018 when they straight flopped, that's not good. That's very not good. It's been, if that was like this, that would be a perfect little uptrend. Okay, but what matters most is 2019 and 2020, what they're doing right now. And right now they're looking pretty good. Let's scroll down a little more. Again, $53 billion market cap, you guys. Huge company. Not a huge company, but for a gold mining company, that's massive. Again, this is the biggest gold miner on the market. But again, that's why I personally just don't like to play this personally, because the higher the market cap, the more capital inflow it takes to boost the stock price. And again, this could just have a crazy amount of capital flowing into it, especially with this news. There's so many eyes on Barrick right now that I'm not doubting that it could do extremely well. I'm just betting on the fact that some of the other plays in my portfolio will do significantly better, that are like sub $10 billion market cap gold miners. Okay, so I will make a video on those in the future. Like I'll probably call it like 3 gold miners I like more than Barrick, or just like my top 3 gold miners. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. But yeah, right now we're talking about Barrick, so we'll focus on the king. Okay, so let's move down a little more. You can see what, like, just yearly returns, just a bunch of different time horizon returns. It's all green. That's good. A lot of things look that way though. And then, I mean, I never put a whole lot of weight on this, but you can see here, sorry, let me see if I can, never mind. You know what, let's move my fat head out of the way. Okay, so you can see here, this is on TradingView. There is, they have like a technicals buy sell meter. I'm sure you guys can get this. It's very self-explanatory. I don't put a whole lot of weight on this, but I mean, TradingView, I have to imagine they have a pretty complex algorithm. They did, this is their site. And it's always a pretty good sign when it says buy or strong buy especially. But right now it's a buy, so I mean, that's never not a decent sign at least. All right. So all that said, fundamentals out of the way. Sorry, it took a little while. Let's get into the technicals. Okay, so as you can see here, we are on the weekly charts right now. Again, since these March lows we hit, that was a liquidity crisis. Gold even being a safe haven asset. This is what I always talk about with like Bitcoin and stuff too, you guys. Like every asset on the planet dropped. Everyone wanted liquidity. That's why we saw this crash back down in March. But since then, I mean, gold specifically and gold miners have recovered like in the strongest way. So it's like the best performing assets over the course of this recession. That makes perfect sense. Governments around the world are printing trillions of dollars. People want hard assets. People want God's money. They want a store of value that will keep their wealth safe while trillions of dollars of fiat currency are being printed. Okay, so that's my primary fundamental argument. If you guys have watched the videos, you know I preach about that all the time. That's a very good fundamental argument for gold overall, gold miners, Bitcoin, any sound money, hard money assets. Okay, so fundamentally very bullish on gold, and obviously as a matter of that, like the people who provide that gold, the people who dig it up out of the ground, are bullish on them too. Okay, so let's move back a little. So I'm not going on, you can see here, I'm not even going to go beyond like further in on, like I'm not going to go on a shorter time frame than the weekly, because you guys, when it comes to this stuff, in my mind at least, I'm so like macro, like these trends that we're seeing right now, I'm viewing these as a macro trader personally. Okay, so I'm looking at the big picture. I'm looking at where these things are going to be at, I mean 3, 6, 12 months from now. So I mean medium to long term, but I'm not worried about the day-to-day price action. I'm just convinced that we're seeing a new bull market in gold, in crypto, and Bitcoin, and all these sound money assets, and gold miners specifically, like definitely included, especially once again after this great news. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's go to all time. Okay, so you can see here, this is, I recommend you guys do this with every stock you invest in. Go to all time, see what these companies have done with these assets, whatever you're looking at that has a chart. See what it's done in the past to understand what it's capable of now. Okay, and again, these, you can always take like stock splits and stuff. There's some things that can affect this, but I mean, you can see here that back in 2011, when the last rally was, okay, so obviously the 2008 financial crisis, similar to now, all assets sold off. But then gold rallied back stronger than ever because, again, people were worried about their fiat currencies. Their fiat currency was devaluing, and therefore they wanted assets like gold. All right, so you can see here, I mean, back in, these are my two price targets, just to keep it super simple. Okay, so the first is hold on, let me see if I can find the eclipse here. So first price target is going to be around this area right here. Second price target is going to be around this area. I don't know why I drew that circle so dumb. Sorry about that. But, oh man, gonna make that a little less irritating. Okay, so these are my two price targets. I imagine that they will hit it over the course of, I mean, the next year or so. This could be a pretty solid time horizon. So this dates to the end of 2022. That might be a little steep, especially considering the current, like, just again, the fundamentals, the stars are all aligning for assets like gold right now. So it wouldn't surprise me to just see almost some parabolic price action. Again, you guys, this is on the monthly time frame. So this may look steep, but it's actually gonna span out pretty long, especially in a market when everyone wants things now. Things go so fast. Understand that this is I think this is a pretty conservative time frame. So I think by the beginning of 2022 at the very latest, so even that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised honestly to see us hit by like mid 2021. So yeah, like this time next year, I wouldn't be surprised to see us retest those previous highs that we set multiple times back in 2011. Like it spent a lot of time, even if you span this line back, it did set highs here back in 2008, in 2011. Again, there's just so much more liquidity in the markets right now that I wouldn't be surprised to see it surpass those previous highs that it set back in 2008 and 2011. And at the very least, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, I mean, reach those. So I think at the very least, Barrick over the course of the next year can reach these previous highs. And I mean, first there's this here, so that's more long-term. Medium-term, I think I wouldn't be surprised if by this winter, Barrick could reach this area that it uses support as a lot of support and resistance a few times, just over the course of, I mean, all this volatility over this span from 2007 to 2012. So over the course of 5 years, it did use this point around just like $43 as a line, as like you can see highs here, support here, more highs, more support. So just look for that in charts, you guys. That's a big thing I look at and that I've noticed in this current market does play a significant role in many other stocks like biotechs and whatnot that I've played recently. So just keep it on that, you guys. My first price target, just to sum it up, is $43, and then my ultimate price target is I mean, I still think this is conservative, to be honest. I think he could go way past this with just, again, all the macroeconomics involved with Barrick Gold right now. I definitely think it could reach new all-time highs. Again, this would be almost a 2x, so this would bring it, if it reached previous highs as of right now, it would bring it to almost $100 billion market cap. That's huge, but I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, especially in this wild, shiny object-driven market right now, okay? And I do, once again, I do think this is the catalyst for a new bull market, and even more extended bull market than we've seen already in gold miners. That's why I'm super bullish on them, you guys. And I think it's super exciting times, once again, for assets, not even just like gold, like, I mean, the Spider Gold Trust. So this is like physical gold. I mean, a whole bunch of gold miners here that I will talk to you guys about in the future. I mean, I'll just plug this now. If you guys want to know my exact positions, then you can check out, once again, the complete portfolio and daily newsletter where I talk about them. I have my exact calls and stock positions. But again, I'll probably make a video within the next week or so talking about that, just because I'm super bullish on this sector right now. So, I mean, check that out if you're interested. If not, no worries at all. But, I mean, I'm super excited to see what happens here. Although I'm not invested, I am rooting for Barrick once again, because it's the kingpin within the gold mining sector. I always say that if the big dog within a sector does well, Tesla for example in the EV sector, if that does well, it's very likely that those within the sector will see some green as well, just guilty by association. So I'm rooting for Barrick. If you're invested, please let me know down in the comments down below, or let me know what other gold mining companies you're invested or what you're interested in. Okay, so always love learning from you guys. Always love talking shop with you guys. So I'll see you down there, and I think we'll call it there, you guys. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.